Hello children, now we are back with a new video. In the previous lectures we have discussed AC circuits containing a resistance and also we did a circuit containing an inductance. Now in this class we are going to discuss AC circuit containing capacitor. Let us understand what exactly the circuit is. While you do this, remember when we did a circuit containing only inductor, we discussed that the inductor develops its own resistance which is called inductive reactance. Yes. In this case we will see what kind of resistance is offered by the capacitor and how exactly the circuit works. So, let us get started. Here we have a capacitor, and to this capacitor we are containing an AC source, right. Suppose the applied AC voltage E equals to E naught sin omega t. Remember, in many textbooks and many concepts they do not write E, they write V. So, you can also write V equals to V0 sin omega t. In this case E and V are same. So, either way you can represent it. Let us say capacitance of the capacitor is C. Children, when we apply this current, the AC voltage, then a current starts passing into the circuit. Now you know that the current which will be set up here will be a fluctuating current. It will have no fixed direction. Half the cycle will be up, half the cycle will be down. So this current starts building charge on the capacitor plates, right? Because I have done that when we combine a source of potential difference across the plates of a capacitor, then the charge in the capacitor plates is given by Q is equal to C into V. So, keeping this, we will say let voltage E equals to E naught sin omega t, where you know E naught is what? Peak EMF. Now, then when this potential difference is applied across the capacitor, then you can understand as the potential is varying, then the charge across the capacitor will also be varying. Means there will be a variable electric flux between the two plates. So, I will say instantaneous charge on the capacitor. Children, when this potential difference is applied, the current will be utilized to charge the plates of the capacitor, and this charge will be variable charge because the current itself is what? Variable. Yes. So, charge Q is equal to, we have done C into V, where it will be C into V is E naught sin omega t. So, you can clearly see that C and E naught are constants, but sin omega t is variable, so therefore charge is also variable. So, children, as the charge is variable, the current will also be variable. Therefore, current I, children, dq dt, current I is equal to dq dt. So, C naught derivative of sin omega t dt. Now, children, if you are not from maths, you just have to remember the derivative of sin omega t with respect to t will be omega cos omega t. So, I will be using this value. So, instantaneous current, children, I equals to C naught into omega cos omega t. Now, very interestingly, I can write this result as I equals to E naught by 1 by omega c into cos omega t. Now, why I wrote this expression in such a manner? There is a specific reason, because no current is equal to applied voltage by resistance. So, children, it is to be remembered by you and very clearly that this quantity 1 by omega c, it acts like resistance of the capacitive circuit and we call it capacitive reactance. So, I will say here X is equal to 1 by omega c, but any frequency is nu, so 1 by 2 pi nu into c. So, here we came across a new term X c subscript, and this constant X is called capacitive reactance. It is called capacitive reactance, and if I put this value here of capacitive reactance, so I becomes E naught by xc cos omega t. Now let's work on this result again. This is 1, equation 1. This is 2. This is 3. E naught is applied voltage and xc. The reactance, we don't use this word resistance because actually there is no resistance. There is no resistor attached. We call it reactance. Reactance basically in this case is a special case of resistance which is not going to cause any power loss. There is going to be no heating effect. Yet it will offer opposition to the flow of current and do the job of stabilizing the current. Very important. There is a new term for you. Capacitive reactance 1 by omega c or 2 pi nu into c. E naught is peak voltage, x is resistance. If you divide peak voltage by resistance, what do you get? Current. So I will say here, but E naught by xc is equal to I naught, where I naught is what? Peak current. If I put this value, children, then it becomes I naught cos omega t. So this is finally the relation that we got between applied voltage E equals to E naught sin omega t and the current in the circuit I equals to I naught cos omega t. Now it becomes very pertinent for us, very important for us to know what is the phase relationship, phase relation or phases diagram. Children, for understanding phases diagram in this case, we need to exactly see current we have represented as a cosine function, voltage we have represented as a sine function. So for comparing the phase relationship between these two, I must write current also as a sine function. And for writing as a sine function, if you are a mathematics students, you know, sine pi by 2 minus theta is equal to cos theta, and also sin pi by 2 plus theta is equal to cos theta. So the question is whether we should write this for sine conversion or this. We understand that first current is passing through the circuit and then only potential difference is being what? Developed, right? So from this argument, the two arguments, one is the current is actually causing the accumulation of charge on the two plates, that's number one, and number two, since the phase here is positive, therefore we should consider the which case? Second case. So I'll justify by saying like this, but cos omega t is equal to sine pi by 2 plus omega t, right? So if I put this value, then here we get I equals to I naught sine pi by 2 plus omega t. So children, finally this fifth equation is a very instrumental one and it gives us the exact phase relationship between the applied voltage and current. Clearly we can see that phase of current is pi by 2 plus omega t. In case you are not a mathematics student, you should be knowing that pi by 2 radian is same as 90 degree. So we conclude that current is having 90 degree phase more than the applied voltage, which is omega t, right? So therefore we say that in a purely capacitive circuit, current will be leading the applied voltage by 90 degree or pi by 2 radian. It is just the opposite of purely inductive circuit. In a purely inductive circuit, what we saw, that applied voltage was leading current by 90 degree. Here current is leading the voltage by 90 degree. So I conclude, hence, so here this is important, we have written, hence in capacitive circuit, current leads voltage by pi by 2 radian or 90 degree, or you can simply say by right angles, right? So it is important for us to know that I equals to I naught cos omega t when E equals to E naught sin omega t. Now once we understood this, then we will try to vectorially represent this using phases diagram, okay? Now children, we will see this phases diagram. E equals to E naught sin omega t, then I becomes I naught cos omega t, which is I naught sin pi by 2 plus omega t. Now these two relations are important for us. for understanding phases diagram, and we already said current is leading applied voltage by pi by 2. So let's see here. You know, anti-clockwise rotation is taken as positive. Phase of voltage is E is here, omega t. Now I is 90 degrees ahead. In fact, this I, that will be smaller than E. This will be pi by 2. So you can see that current is leading this angle omega t by pi by 2, and therefore this total phase will be pi by 2 plus omega t. Clear? So children, this is E and this is I. Right? We can represent also graphically how these are varying. This is pi by 2, pi, 3 pi by 2, 2 pi. Clear? Now this is children E naught. This is applied voltage. Clear? This is plus E naught. This is minus E naught. Current is 90 degree ahead. This will be I. If you draw this, then this is how the current is a cosine function. You know the graph of cosine function? So children, this is graph for E and this is graph for I. Remember, amplitude of I is less than amplitude of E. I will start from here and E will start from here. Clear? It's important for you to understand this graph. We have phasors diagram. We have also graphically represented. Amplitude of current is less than amplitude of the applied voltage. It is 90 degree ahead. If it is 90 degree behind, the graph will start from here. Like in case of a purely inductive circuit. Clear? Now once you understood the phasor diagram, children, one thing is very clear, that current in this case also is what? Is a wattless current. What current? Wattless current. Remember we defined the wattless current last time? Wattless current is current in which there is no power loss. Right? And in wattless current, the phase difference between the applied voltage and current is always a right angle. Clear? Once you understood this, now we will be seeing average power. Children, we are going to discuss now what is average power in a purely capacitive circuit. We already know, children, P equals to V into I. Like we did in case of other circuits also. How much is V? V is E, that is E into I, and E is E naught sin omega t. And how much is I, children? I is I naught sin omega t. Now we multiply and divide by 2, then I can write P is equal to E naught I naught by 2 into 2 sin omega t cos omega t. And 2 sin theta cos theta is equal to how much of sin 2 theta. So P becomes E naught I naught by 2 sin 2 omega t. This is power. Children, once we got, if from mathematics, then you know 2 sin omega t cos omega t is equal to sin 2 omega t. You have done 2 sin a cos a is equal to sin 2. If you do not know, learn it. 2 sin omega t cos omega t is equal to sin 2 omega t. Sin 2 omega t. Right? Now for average value, if I want to calculate average power, children, then I will be writing average power is equal to E naught I naught by 2 into average value of sine 2 omega t. And children, what is the average value of sine 2 omega t? 0. Average value of sine 2 omega t is 0. I have already told you average value of sine square omega t, average value of cos square omega t is half, and average value of sine 2 omega t and cos 2 omega t is how much here? 0. So average power here is how much here? Is equal to 0. So this establishes our discussion that in this circuit also current will be such that the average power dissipated is how much? 0. Conclude this way, that the current is wattless current, the phase difference between the applied voltage and current is 90 degree, hence average power is 0. So this circuit is a good circuit for storing energy, will not dissipate any heat, and therefore it cannot do any work at all. So children, once you understood the concept of average power dissipated, we will go a little bit more for the discussion of capacitive reactance, how exactly it behaves. Okay, capacitive reactance. Capacitive reactance. Capacitive reactance is denoted by what? Xc. And capacitive reactance is actually the resistance offered by the purely capacitive circuit. Let me tell you that here onwards, once you start a DC, you come across this new term called reactance. We saw reactance in case of inductor. We are seeing reactance in case of capacitor, and we find that reactance actually is like resistance but does not cause any power loss. But what is common between reactant and resistance? That both offer opposition to the flow of current, right? So capacitive reactance, children, Xc is equal to 1 upon omega c R1 by 2 pi nu into C. Now children, if graphically we have to show the variation of capacitive reactance with respect to capacitance or frequency, so see here, this is Xc and this is capacitance. The graph will be like a rectangular hyperbola, right, symmetric about this axis. Now you are plotting a graph between capacitive reactance and frequency. This will also be a rectangular hyperbola. Now it is very interesting. If I decrease capacitance, then capacitive reactance will increase. If I decrease frequency, then also capacitive reactance will increase. You can see frequency is decreasing, it is increasing, frequency is increasing, reactance is decreasing. Now if you are dealing with the DC circuit for DC circuit, how much is the frequency? 0. So Xc will be how much here? Infinite. Remember, this is very interesting. For a DC circuit, capacitive reactance is how much? 0. Means it will block any DC. If I have a circuit in which I connect a capacitor, now this is a technical thing, and I connect what? A DC. What will happen? The circuit will be auto off. This capacitor will offer infinite resistance and block the DC, meaning there will be no current in the circuit. This is a very technical matter and you have to understand this. Okay, I will show you an example of this application of capacitor DC circuit. Okay, let's see here. Now let's look at this typical example. Suppose they give a circuit like this and then they say what will be current in the steady state? A question. Steady state means the current has become uniform. DC also increases and then becomes uniform. So if I give you this problem, what will be current? Suppose I connect here an ammeter and I ask what will be the reading of this ammeter. Then how will you do it? We will be using this concept. You already know that technically if the current will travel from here, go up to here, and the current will have a tendency to go branch off, go through the capacitor and also go through the resistor. But what will happen, children? Since the applied voltage is DC, it will offer, this capacitor will offer infinite resistance and therefore it will block current in this part. The current in this part will not go. So we can redraw the simplified circuit, and the simplified circuit will be something like this. Here 10 ohm, 10 ohm, here DC source and is the circuit. 10 ohm, 10 ohm. Simple circuit. This circuit is switched off, is not working only. So you can see here that effective resistance, these two are in series, is 20 and the current will be how much? 6 by 20, 0.3 ampere. So what will be reading of this ammeter? 0.3 ampere. So you can get problems like this where you will see a capacitor connected across a what? Connected across a DC source. When you connect a capacitor across a DC source, it will block the DC, the circuit will be as good as off. Okay, let's see this. Average power dissipated. See, this is a very easy question that you have been given the exam. You may be given an exam, an AC source of 50 volt and 500 upon pi hertz is applied across a 10 microfarad capacitor. Across a 10 microfarad capacitor, and you have to calculate capacitive reactance, peak current I naught, and also average power dissipated. So we can imagine the circuit is something like this. This is the capacitor, the AC source, this is 10 microfarad, right? Now what is given here, children? Given is ERMS is given as 50, because 50 volts steady. If I say 50 volts, I am generally referring to what? Steady voltage is 50 volts, the voltage which is not fluctuating, and then frequency is 500 by nu. So children, how much is omega? Omega is 2 pi nu. 2 pi into 500 upon pi, cancel out. So 1000 radian per second. This is omega. So first answer, you have to find out what is capacitive reactance. So first answer, Xc is 1 by omega C. Omega is 1 by 1000. And how much is C, children? 10 into 10 to the power minus 6. Clear? So it will be how much? 100 ohm. How much the capacitive reactance you got? 100 ohm. Right? Once you got this, then the second answer. We have been given ERMS and they are saying what is peak current. So we know the formula, E naught by root 2 is equal to ERMS. If you cross multiply, then E naught is 50. So E naught is equal to how much? 50 root 2. I calculated how much is E naught, that is 50 root 2, and therefore peak current I naught is equal to, we have E naught by X, and E naught we already know how much you got. E naught is 50 root 2, right? So we have 50 root 2 by 100, that is root 2 by 2 ampere, or 1 by root 2 ampere. Clear? And now the third part is how much the average power dissipated. This part you can very easily calculate. Average power dissipated will be how much? 0, because you know in the cross purely capacitive circuit, average power dissipated is how much? 0. Okay, children. So once you get a sum on purely capacitive circuit, I am sure you will be able to handle it. Okay. Now children, since you have understood all the three basic circuits, that is circuit containing resistance, then capacitance and inductance, now we will be seeing a circuit which is combining all these three, and it is an important circuit for you. It is called LCR circuit. In fact, we are going to do LCR series circuit. So it is series LCR circuit. Children, this LCR circuit, as the name implies, it has an inductor, it has a capacitor, and it has a resistor. Three elements are there in the circuit. Let's draw it. We have resistor here, we have inductor here, and we have a capacitor here. Now these three elements of the circuit are connected in series, and they are connected across an AC source. Resistance is R, inductance is L, and capacitance is C. And suppose you are applying a voltage E equals to E naught sin omega t. Clear? Now this is a technical circuit, and we will understand it also in a technical way. Let's understand what exactly will happen when I connect the AC source. Obviously this AC source will set up a current in the circuit, and these three elements R, L and C have been combined in series, and you know whenever there is series combination, then current is always same. So current through all the three elements of LCR circuit is going to be same, and let's say the current is I. See, this is not DC circuit. If it was DC circuit, then I would have said that potential difference across R, L and C will be in the same phase, but we know it is never in the same phase. Why I have said about current first? Because current will become like a reference board. It will become like a reference line. We know that in case of these AC circuit elements R, L and C, in fact not in case of R but in case of L and C, there is a phase difference between current and the potential difference, right? So here we are going to see like this, that current in all these three will be in the same phase, same current will flow, but there will be difference in the potential difference. Let's see what is happening exactly. So let's begin. First thing you are going to do is potential difference across LCR circuit. We are going to find out what is the potential difference across LCR circuit. Let's see a typical scenario. Suppose potential difference across resistance VR is VR, potential difference across inductance is VL, and potential difference across capacitance is VC. Or you can also write, since we are writing E, ER, EL and EC, it is all the same. You can write V also, you can write what? C also. If it was a DC circuit, then I would have said that potential difference here will be E equals to ER plus EL plus EC. But we can say like this here, we cannot say, because they are not in the same phase. In case of DC we would have said, in case of AC we cannot say. So let's see what exactly we can say. Let's try to understand this problem vectorially. Potential difference across resistance. Remember, current is our reference quantity. We are referring to the phase with respect to the current. We know that if it is a purely resistive circuit, then potential difference across the resistance is in the same phase as the current. So let's represent it along x-axis. I'll assume this is x-axis, as you already know. This is y-axis. I'm taking xy plane because it's a two-dimensional phenomenon. If this is VR, this x-axis, current is also along the same direction. Now, when I look at inductor, then you have done that potential difference across inductor leads by 90 degree. So this is VL or EL, let's say this is ER, and potential difference across capacitor lags by 90 degree. So this will be down, this will be EC. Potential difference across resistors is the same phase as the current. Potential difference across inductor leads current by 90 degree, and potential difference across what? Capacitor lags by 90 degree. So here I will be writing, this is same phase as current, this one leads by 90 degree, and here this one is lags by 90 degree, behind lags by 90 degree. So children, if I superimpose these three vectors, then you can see this is EL, this is ER, this is EL, and this is EC. You can see that this is 90 degree above positive and this is 90 degree below negative. So what is the phase difference between these two? 180 degree. So when the phase difference between two vectors is 180 degree, then the resultant is what? Difference of the two vectors. And we do not know whether EL is more or whether EC is more. Either of these two could be more. So I'll be writing like this. Finally, this is ER. And how much is this? This is EL minus EC. I am denoting by absolute sign because we do not know which is more. And this angle is what? 90 degree. And now this will be the net potential difference across the LCR circuit. And this angle which you are seeing is called phase angle, and we denote it by phi. Clear? So now we can find out that net potential drop difference across LCR circuit is E equals to root over ER square plus EL minus EC whole square. Now this is a very important result, children. E equals to ER square plus EL minus EC square. Suppose I take potential difference across the resistance, suppose is 8 volts. Across inductor it is 14 volts, right? And across capacitor is suppose 8 volts. And then they ask you, what is the potential drop across the LCR circuit? Then if it was DC, I would have done 8 plus 14, that is 22 plus 8, 30 volts. But I cannot do it. Here potential drop E will be equal to root over ER square plus EL minus EC square, and ER is how much? 8 square plus 14 minus 8 square. 64 plus 36, how much? 10 volt. So potential difference how much you have, children? 10 volts. So you have to bear in mind that when I want to calculate potential difference across LCR circuit as a whole, this is the formula I will be using, ER square plus EL minus EC whole square, right? Now this becomes very interesting for us. Similarly, suppose I ask you, what is effective resistance of the circuit? Because here we found that effective voltage, effective potential difference is not the sum of potential difference across the three elements of the circuit. It is to be vectorially obtained, E equals to root over ER square plus EL minus EC whole square. So therefore, effective resistance of the circuit, when I am talking about effective resistance, then I am saying what is the combined effect of reactance and resistance, because there are two elements in the circuit in terms of opposition. One is resistance, resistor, which will be actually dissipating heat and opposing the current. Then we have two more elements. One is reactance, that is inductive reactance, and the other is capacitive reactance also. So the combined effect of resistance and reactance is the net opposition which is offered by the LCR circuit. So we are going to discuss an important topic for you, impedance of LCR circuit, okay? Impedance, right? Impedance of LCR circuit. What is the impedance? Like I said, we have capacitor which is in capacitive reactance, and we have inductor which is inductive reactance. So these parts having their own reactance, and this part is offering a resistance. So the combined effect of reactance and resistance is called impedance. Let's see here. So children, combined effect of resistance and reactance is called impedance of the circuit. We will try to calculate what is impedance, what is its value. Remember, its symbol is what? Z. We look at this circuit. We will say if current is equal to I, then PD cross LCR circuit, children, is E will be equal to how much? I into Z. V is equal to I into R. Z is what? Effective resistance, that is impedance. Children, we already know that ER will be equal to how much? I into R. EL will be equal to I into XL, and then EC will be equal to I into XC. We know the potential difference across all the three elements. So E will be equal to how much here? Root over ER square plus EL minus EC whole square. We already know this. If we put in the values, then it is I into R square, I into XL minus I into XC whole square. You can see that I square will be common in both the brackets. So I can also say E is equal to root over I square into R square plus XL minus XC whole square. I can be taken out as common from here, root over XL minus XC whole square. So children, we got two values of E. One is I into Z and the other is I root over R square plus XL minus XC whole square. If I equate 1 and 2, then by equating we get I into Z equals to I root over R square plus XL minus XC whole square. We can cancel out I and I from both sides. So from here you can calculate how much is Z. Z equals to root over we have R square plus XL minus XC whole square. So children, we came across a very interesting formula, R Z equals to root over R square plus XL minus XC whole square. We already know the values of XL and XC. So if you put in the values of XL and XC, then Z equals to be finally derived root over R square plus XL minus XC whole square. Clear? We know XL is equal to omega into L and XC is equal to 1 upon omega into C. If you put in these values here, then Z equals to root over we have R square plus omega into L minus 1 upon omega into C whole square. If I put the value of omega in terms of frequency, omega is 2 pi nu, where nu is frequency, then we can generate another formula for impedance, Z equals to root over R square plus 2 pi nu into L minus 1 upon 2 pi nu into C whole square. So all these are formulas that we can easily use for calculating what is the impedance of the circuit in terms of frequency, if frequency is given to us. Clear? And this is very easy in fact. Z equals to root over R square plus 2 pi nu into L minus 1 by 2 pi nu into C whole square. Okay? Now, this relation which you are saying that we derived, we can also derive in terms of the vector diagram. Let's look at the vector diagram. This is ER, this is EL, and this is EC. If we divide all by I, then potential difference divided by I will become what? If I divide all by I, so we get what? Resistance. Potential difference across the resistor by I is equal to resistance. This is resistance of the inductor called inductive reactance, and this is resistance of the capacitor called capacitive reactance. Vectorially we have represented all the three resistances. We can modify and draw also. This is R, this is XL minus XC, this is the combined resistance Z, this is phi, and this angle is what? R. So you can see we get the same relation, Z equals to root over R square plus XL minus XC whole square. So you can derive the value of impedance of the circuit, LCR circuit, by using this vector diagram also. Okay. So children, in this lecture we discussed LCR circuit, potential difference of LCR circuit, and also purely capacitive circuit. So go through these concepts in detail. In next class I will be discussing so many more topics related to LCR circuit. Okay, only this much in this video.